We are live on Sunrise Extras. We fixed the camera. Good morning, everyone on Instagram. Hello, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Thanks for watching this morning. Waking up with us on a Tuesday. Guys, it's going to be so hot today. Rod Hill thinks like 97 degrees in that zone.
Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah.
Too hot.
I blew up the kiddie pool yesterday. It's ready to go in the yard because that hose water is real cold.
Oh yeah, but
I plopped her in and her little ankles were all frozen, but she loved it, so it should be the perfect temperature.
Well, and the rivers
today.
are still cold too, so definitely remember that. I mean, I went kayaking the other day and I jumped in. I was kind of on an offshoot of the Columbia River, and it was, I got in and I was like,
people get into trouble.
I know.
Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue had to rescue a senior citizen,
that's
a woman
right.
out there in the
Tualatin River. Yeah.
So still
be
cold.
safe, but yeah, enjoy the sunshine. It's going to be perfect temperatures after tomorrow and Thursday.
Down.
So then it's 80s and 77.
Can
so
you
it's going to be
guys
great.
believe it? And then like school's getting out soon.
Yep, tomorrow.
Yeah,
for
tomorrow.
Portland, at least.
Summer. That is my favorite time, especially when my kids were in school. I love not the structured time that you have.
Yeah.
You have to be here, be there, you know.
You just kind of hang out,
I wish
chill.
I was a kid.
I love it.
Again.
Love it.
So our big topic today that we were actually having you guys vote on was it has to do with homeless tent camps. We see them everywhere. In downtown, ODOT is taking a new approach within the last year or so. You may have been seeing boulders, huge rocks, and I think we have some video we can pull up for our Facebook crowd, or at least we can use our cool touch screen over here. So this is at Southwest 14th and Montgomery. It's kind of the on-ramp you see right here to 405 and like to go over the Markham Bridge and stuff. So this week they started putting these huge boulders down, and this, because I drive on it very regularly. Oh, I guess I can hit play, right? Yeah. So this was a very popular, this is what I was, you don't need to see a talking head. There you go. So this has been a popular tent camping spot, and some neighbors had put up rose bushes there to, with the thorns, kind of try and deter homeless campers from staying there. But ODOT says, let's just put these boulders down. They also have them on the on-ramp to 405 to the Fremont Bridge, heading north. And so we were asking you guys, what do you think of this? Do you support this idea? Is it just pushing the tent camps elsewhere? Yes, it is. I mean, that's a fact. But do you kind of support using taxpayer money? Because what did they say? How much was it to do this?
I want to say, I don't know if he said a specific number, but it was in the millions.
I think it might have been
$1 million.
Yeah.
It was like $1 million
But per
or something.
instance that they're putting it down?
Well, I mean, he says, Don Hamilton with ODOT, who's the spokesperson, says it is cheaper in the long run to do it that way. $1 million sounds like a lot, but it's cheaper to do it that way than trying to, go to every single illegal camp and just clearing it out. It's just like over and over and over again that they're going to have to do these things. So that's why they're putting down these boulders in an effort to try to not have to do that.
Well, a lot of people are supporting.
Oh yeah,
you can see it on our viewer voice poll. 89% say, yeah, I like the boulder idea.
Keep talking, Brenda. I'm just going to show them the vote over here.
It really is an issue of the bigger picture, and some people who are on our Facebook page are saying the same thing. It's like you push them out of here, and not saying you shouldn't. I mean, they can't camp anywhere that they want. It's illegal, but they go somewhere else. So it is the shell game. They're just moving around. Well, they're going into somebody else's neighborhood or in front of somebody else's business.
Making a lot of people feel unsafe because, I mean, while I think that I feel like a lot of people have compassion for those who are homeless and don't have a roof over their heads. I mean, there's a lot of drug use that goes on in some of these camps. We've heard that from officials. Mental health issues. I mean, we obviously talk about that all the time. And so the people who live near these camps are so scared to like even go out of their own homes. If they have kids, they don't want their kids to go out of their homes. Some of these people, especially by the most recent place where those boulders were put, Southwest 14th and Montgomery here in Southwest Portland, they were saying that, they put the rose bushes in, those didn't work, and they were trying to upkeep these rose bushes, and the neighbors who were just donating their time to try to make their space look nice, they were getting, harassed and attacked, and it just wasn't worth it anymore. And so for the safety of everyone, those boulders went in.
Well, and you were saying it's really, they're concentrating these on the freeway on-ramp areas because of the danger that folks trying to get to their tent camps were crossing the freeway or getting onto the freeway on-ramp, and it's dangerous for drivers and dangerous for those campers.
Have you guys seen that, by the way?
Yes.
I mean, I have been driving on the freeway before, and I've just seen someone jet across the freeway, and I thought to myself, oh my God, you know, it was so scary.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
So Tim says we're going to be known as Boulder City. Tyler says, I think it's fantastic. And then Susan Day says homeless people need a place just like everyone else. If you're not going to make a place for them, then leave them alone. And she's got like an emoji that's like a man emoji, but you know, kind of a wide variety of people who are just posting.
And we posted the question, you know, do you support this on our Facebook page? And it's been blowing up this morning. Let me get to that here. We already have 46 comments on this story. Yeah, Beth saying it's brilliant, it's a great idea. Bill Dixon, awesome idea. Thomas, they need to do something long-term if this works great. Maybe after they've been there a while and settled in, some artwork could be placed in them to go along with the neighborhood. Give it a chance, folks. Carrie, on the other side of things, it doesn't solve the problem of homelessness. We need to invest in mental health units. Yes, we do. Rehab units, real affordable housing, and education and trade training. Let's see, Jim says a great idea. Where are the homeless supposed to go? Another viewer says this is just a temporary solve to the problem. So weigh in, tell us what you guys think. We have this post here on kgw.com asking you guys to vote. You know, do you support this idea? At least they're for now doing it on the freeway on-ramps. I've seen it downtown. I've seen it like under 205.
Yep.
On the east side.
Yep.
Division
and
and all that stuff.
Waterfront, kind of down in that area.
Oh, right,
I've noticed those.
I mean, it's at least a few months ago when they started this. It's been quite a while since
Yeah,
they
last
started
summer I
putting
saw
these
it for the
out.
first time.
Yeah.
I used to live downtown. I love urban living. I used to live downtown for a couple of years, and that's why I left the downtown core, because the homeless situation had gotten so bad. My daughter was actually, she was traveling, but I thought, I don't want my 18-year-old coming and walking this corridor. I didn't feel safe. I felt like that would not be a safe environment for her. And it's sad that we have to bleed people out of the area because it doesn't work for the homeless. It doesn't work for the business owner. It doesn't work for people who rent and buy downtown. On no level does this work. And that's the thing that I'm interested in. It's what is the solution?
Well, that's the thing. It's so huge, right?
Well,
the issue is so huge. How?
And you know, we've done a lot of stories. You know, our Maggie Vespa is a great story. I think Kyle worked on that with her.
Tent City, is that what you're talking about?
The special.
Yeah, and the problem is, I don't think even the city has a good handle on what the percentages are. What's the percentages of people that need help? What's the percentage of the people that need help that want help or will make it possible to actually get them help? What's the percentage of people that just don't want to work? Because it's a mix of everything, and I'm not sure. Have you seen a study? I haven't seen a breakdown that even has confidence of what the percentages of the mix of the problem that we're dealing with even is.
Yeah, it's hard to have any kind of census when you're homeless because you're transient, right?
Exactly. People are coming and going.
They don't know if they've connected with people twice, if they've missed other people. When I was downtown, I wanted to know more about it, so I went to Transition Projects right down here, and I saw that place filled with people needing day services. And like I said, it's awful to look at when somebody is on the street and it's filthy and they're high. But I often think if you were out there on the street day in, day out, being perhaps assaulted yourself, I probably would be on drugs too, trying to numb out or you know, alcohol or whatever it is. I see how we got there, but now it's like, what are we going to do about it? And I do think the boulders are effective, but it is a temporary situation.
It's not a temporary fix for those. I would add, though, it's not a temp fix for those exact locations. For those exact locations,
it's a permanent fix.
if one of their goals is to keep people off of the highways, then that's a permanent fix for that specific location.
Right, but they just move around, and so it is a
So
bigger,
it's not addressing
overarching
the
I
issue,
get that,
right?
but-
Yeah.
No, I do
That's what
too.
we're saying.
I get it. I totally get it.
And so many people, you know, you guys obviously, you know, a huge talker here, and this is something that affects so many people. So thank you so much for weighing in. I mean, Christina is saying, using San Francisco as an example of what not to do. I mean, San Francisco, another huge city, dealing with homelessness. Seattle, I
Are
mean,
they doing that? She said of what not to do. Are they putting boulders? Is that what she's talking about?
I'm not sure,
Are they doing
Christina.
boulders in
Are they
spots?
putting boulders? Do you know, Christina?
Yeah.
But yeah, so many people. That's a good idea. Feel better. Just so sad.
I mean, it is not just a Portland problem. We're talking about it because it's here. When I took my daughter back to school in Troy, New York, little tiny Troy in upstate New York, I was like, oh, look at, they've got not the same magnitude, but they have people living on the streets there too. It is a nationwide problem.
But what you said, I've dealt with people who travel and work around this country, constantly traveling for their jobs. Many of them have said, yeah, it's a problem all over. They've never seen it as bad as it is here in Portland in terms of, and I'm going to use the word disgust, in terms of the disgust of the filth and everything that's right in the middle of our downtown area. And don't forget, we all have rights. Maybe I'm not correct on this, but I want to say I feel like I also have the right to go downtown and have somewhat of a clean, nice environment for the tax money that I put into the city. So that's part of this deal too.
Yeah, Rod, I've heard the same
all
thing
have rights.
in terms of people visiting from out of town, that this is an issue nationwide, but that it's remarkably worse, at least in Portland. And Casey Rogers said something has to be done. I'm embarrassed to have out-of-town visitors. So yeah,
It's like I did a bunch of stories on the transient boats, you know, the kind of pirate boats that you see out on the Willamette. A lot of them are out at Ross Island. Tons of them are out by Delta Park and Hayden Island. And it's, you know, the same thing of this kind of boat issue but that is considered their home.
Yeah.
You know, it really is a roof over their home. But it's like you were just saying, everyone has rights, and legitimate boaters who have to pay for their registration, who have to have life jackets, who have to have working lights, an anchor, all kinds of safety equipment, or you get a fine. And they'll fine you real quick, you know, if they pull you over on that sheriff's boat. But these transient boats have none of that. And they're leaking all kinds of stuff. But I mean, because they can't get money out of them, they don't, you know, there's no punishment.
And remember, one of the things about our Tent City special, how long has that been? Is that over the winter we did that? I can't remember when that aired.
A year at least.
It was a marvelous piece. And one of the things that caught me as a viewer that I wasn't expecting to hear, there were multiple people, I don't know what the percentage is, but we had multiple interviews on our air as part of that piece of people saying, basically, I don't care if you build me a 5-star hotel. I don't want to go there. I like it out here. Out here, there's no rules.
I remember that.
Can do whatever I want. And my answer to that is, well, that's great, but some things in life isn't fair, and that's not your land. And one of the rules about life is, if it's not your land, you can't live there. It's as simple as that.
Oh my gosh, my boyfriend was actually passing over by Northeast, like around that Multnomah Boulevard, I think it is, area. Anyway, I can't remember this spot, but there was a homeless camp, and the homeless people had put up a sign that said no trespassing. And it was on land that wasn't even theirs.
Well,
I mean, it's just out of control.
Well, and Rod, you said, you know, do we even know the exact numbers, right? But I mean, the city, apparently, I seem to recall that the city was talking about how they're doing more for the homeless now than they ever have before in terms of dedicating more money and trying to provide more mental health services, dedicating more to, you know, affordable housing. But yeah, I mean, the problem has just gotten so big that you got to wonder if these efforts now are going to really solve what we've already created.
If you're sitting at the city council table, at what point do you go, golly gee, we're spending this much money on homeless? We're spending, I don't know, I'm going to, for my example of argument, I'm going to say we're spending that much money on our kids' education. I mean, at what point does that money, looking down the road, better spent somewhere else too? Because that's another, we can't just keep saying we're going to add 30 million this year to the homeless crisis, we're going to add 70 million the next year. And I feel like that's where we are right now, and I want this solved as well, but boy, it seems like we're a long ways from now.
Yeah, this is so
You guys I want to refresh people because we've been getting a lot of, this is really, you know, touching a nerve with everybody. So I want to kind of remind people, if you're just tuning in, kind of what we're talking about. It's a big issue today. You may have seen these huge boulders being placed near freeway on-ramps that have been popular tent camping sites for homeless campers near the freeway. This is downtown at Southwest 14th and Montgomery, right near where you would get on 405 North to go over the Markham Bridge, kind of in the Goose Hollow neighborhood. And the neighbors here had been trying to use rose bushes with the thorns to kind of deter homeless campers. It didn't work. So now the city is spending about $1 million, we think, per site to buy these rocks and put them. I don't know if it's per site. We got to find that out.
Where are they buying the rocks from? I'm always interested
don't know.
when the government throws out these huge figures. It's always some
Right, it's
astronomical
always way
number.
more expensive than you
It's a bunch of rocks.
Yeah.
$1 million? Are you kidding me? I'd have to see that
manpower
broken
to-
down.
That's what we're asking you
I don't
guys.
know.
You know, do you agree with the city spending taxpayer money on that? And the city says, at least ODOT, not the city, ODOT saying that that cost is actually cheaper than repeatedly going through and sweeping these camps and paying
I do believe that.
people per hour to
That I
do that, and the
believe.
dump
It's a big job.
fees to throw away all the trash. And so that's kind of what we're talking about if you guys are just tuning in.
you
And
can
we're
also
getting,
weigh in.
like
we've got a
dozens
poll
of comments.
going.
Yeah.
And it's on kgw.com/vote, by the way, if you want to join in on the poll. Right now, 89% of people who have voted say they support ODOT putting those boulders where illegal campsites have been, while 11% oppose it. So
What are some of the
overwhelmingly.
other things that people are saying? Do we have some new comments?
Rhonda, homelessness isn't a disease. Tyler, 100% supports it. Tracy, she gives a little bit of context here, just went to downtown Boise and there was not a single homeless person on the street sleeping or begging. I was shocked. Are we enabling these people? Is that why they're all coming here?
Yeah, that is a perspective
argument.
as well, that
Yeah.
it's too permissive in the city of Portland, and that's why people are coming.
And I want to say, you keep up with this more than I do, Brenda. But if you go back to Mayor Hales and you fast forward to Mayor Wheeler, I want to say that Mayor Hales, a lot of the stuff, and I'm not saying it's his fault, but it really exploded back in that time frame. And I want to say we have tightened the screws, so to speak, a little bit
It's because
with our current administration
economy
as
went crazy.
to where it was several administrations ago.
Well, I think a lot of it
And
too
the
is
housing
development.
market and development,
Because
yeah.
we've
Pushes
pulled
a lot
out
of people out.
industrial Northwest, which is now very trendy, and it's the Pearl and everything around that. And I would argue there was a time in Portland's history where that's where they were, and most people weren't out there industrial, but because these big high rises and apartments have gone out, they've come out of those shadows and into the public eye,
be, yeah.
right? I know that is
Yeah.
one of the problems after talking to people who work with the homeless. So like I said, it's not easy. And you're right, everybody does have a perspective and a right. You cannot leave it the way it is.
Well, and I think the overwhelming of the people in this city want to see this solved. We want to see these people get on a better path for their own lives. But it's so easy to look at that and go, it's just so dirty and disgusting. And I can't imagine. I mean, it's not fair for me to talk about that because I truly cannot imagine putting myself into that situation. It's just easy for me to stand here and go, well, yeah, you need a place to stay, but you have to be so filthy. And you have to leave all this trash out all the time to the point that there are corners walking downtown where it stinks. And you know what the stink is. So,
Yeah, I mean,
By the way, Christina, we had mentioned her comment earlier where she said, don't do what San Francisco does. Remember, and we asked her, what do you mean? She responded saying, San Francisco enables big time. Don't do that. That's what she said.
It's a big topic, you guys, and thank you. I mean, we've got 112 people. It was up to about 140 people watching us live here on Facebook, so it's a hot topic. Definitely one of our big ones, obviously, that's, we're not going to solve at this table.
but we have the
No.
new day care center. It was in our news today.
That was very promising, yes. So yeah, a new center for showering mental health services that the city is going to get going kind of near Burnside and Ankeny downtown. So lots of stuff in the works. So thank you guys for tuning in. We really appreciate your live comments and being able to chat with you on Sunrise Extra. We do it every morning here at 7 a.m. on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Say bye-bye.
Stay cool.